You are now tuned in to DAR Sports Media doing the offseason grades for the NFL. This week we're on the NFC East division. There's a real interesting combination for all of us here, given the connective tissue from my team to Tay's team that we all know about. So I want to start off right there. Tay, how did you like this Commanders offseason? What do you think of the major additions? Did you have them at the top of your rankings as far as off seasons?
The O-line last year played better than expected. I could definitely admit that. O-line played better than expected. We had guys out of position. And it worked. And with that being said, we go out and we trade like day 2, day 3 picks for Tunzel. We got him from Houston, and then we draft another tackle. Like we draft a tackle like a month or two after that. So a line that outdid themselves, and we all knew that. That's why we did our 2 biggest moves, I would say, outside of Debo. I'll get to that, but Commanders went heavy on the line. You got a franchise quarterback, you got to protect them. You don't want to go out there with a iffy O-line again. And
absolutely.
Exactly. So this was a great, I'm glad the GM's seen this. He definitely pays attention. He knows what we truly need. And I like that our line is good now. I comfortably trust our line. That's like the first time I've ever been able to say that as a Commanders fan. But yeah, the Commanders definitely had a excellent offseason. They got better.
So you mentioned it. Let's talk about it. Debo, you're excited about that? After hearing me, after being on this podcast with me for 2 football seasons, are you excited about the addition? Because you have the real insight. People, other Commanders fans, casuals, they just know the name, but you got the insight from somebody who was living it week in and week out.
Yeah, am I excited? I'm more so intrigued. Like I don't want to have too much expectation.
Yeah.
But I would like to see it. Like, we didn't go running back. That's the one thing I think we should have done. Like we should have, I feel like we should have went running back a little earlier in the draft or paid for one, but we just didn't touch running back. And I think that's where Debo is going to come in for the Commanders this year. And, we traded a third, and, his last year on the deal, we don't have to sign him back. Like, I wouldn't care. Like,
it's highly unlikely that he's back. Yeah.
Then that's fine.
Yeah. So it's all
fine. Next year, then that's the number one need. Just get another receiver, and I'm fine. Like this is a rental. This that's how I see it, and we can probably get the best out of him. His last year on the deal. You know what he did last time. It was time for some money. So I'm intrigued, but not excited. Not excited because I know what we have, outside of him, and I mean, yeah, I'm intrigued though. I think he'll be a bigger use in the run game, if anything.
Lee Harvey, who do you got number 1 offseason in the NFC East?
I still say Philadelphia.
Yeah, they did really well. They did really well, for sure.
Yeah, they retained Barkley. I like that first round pick they got.
Green, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And strength to strength. They always have a great offense. They always have a great offensive line and a great defensive line. Excuse me, Cameron Williams was the OL that they drafted. They brought in Kenyon Green as a free agent. Strength on strength on strength. Doing a great job.
Not only that, but they added Jahad Campbell.
Yeah. another guy, another killer on the defense who slipped and slipped and slipped, who they don't have to necessarily shove in there
Right.
before he's ready. But he also, seems like he'll be ready pretty damn quick. One of the highest ranked linebackers in the draft. Just another bad motherfucker on that Eagles defense.
It depends. They might, because I don't know when the Nakobe Dean will be back.
Yeah, true.
Because he suffered like a knee injury or something like that.
Pretty bad one. I think it was a patellar, like a type of stuff that people sometimes don't always come back from.
Yeah. So we might see Campbell early. But yeah, they didn't suffer any like major subtractions other than losing Darius Slay, but I feel like Philly's still in good shape to make another deep run.
Absolutely. Tay, what's your take on the Eagles offseason?
It was solid. It was definitely solid. You can expect that from them. Nothing was eye popping though. Like they did exactly what they were supposed to. There was no like big moves here. They got a bunch of depth pieces, and I like Jahad Campbell. That was a good draft pick. Yep. That's what they needed. But yeah, they just got a bunch of depth everywhere.
I just like how smart some of the additions feel. Like AJ Dillon at running back seems like a really like nice, like smart addition, adding another element to that backfield that already has so many. And I don't know if you noticed there, especially there, Lee, because we were both draft crushing on him. Picked up our guy Kyle McCord to be a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I feel like that's an interesting fit in the system they run, but I guess Kenny Pickett came in and ran the system really well last year, and Kyle McCord is a Kenny Pickett type, a little bit more arm talent than Pickett, but so yeah, I really like that pick, and I like his room to grow there. Moving on through, I feel like we say this. Where did you guys? Okay, so who do you got next, Tay? I'll just go like that. Who do you got next?
I mean, I guess the Giants.
Yeah, I think you would have to.
Mm-hmm.
Abdul Carter, through the whole time, was ranked as one of the top 3 prospects in this draft. So awesome to grab him. I've said it on here. I've said it a bunch of times. Say it over and over. Build an identity, and they have a hell of an identity on that pass rush now. Between who's that fella they picked up? Hell of identity on that pass rush between Dexter Lawrence, between the guy they picked up out of Oregon a couple years ago,
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah, there we go. If he says his name enough, so it's enough for me to forget. Kayvon Thibodeau and his 7 splashy plays per year that he'll make, and he won't do anything else. And then Abdul Carter. I mean, and then also Brian Burns, who they signed from the Panthers. That's got to be the most loaded pass rush in the league. Right up there, it has to be. I can't think of one that's more loaded. Star for star, top end players. So. Love that they built an identity. What are we thinking here with Jackson Dart, fellas? What do we think? I wish Apollo could have jumped on with us. He could have had some thoughts and feels on this one. What are we thinking? Jackson Dart there, Tay. Fit with the Giants. It's a fun QB roommate with James Winston, Russell Wilson, Tommy Cutlets, and Jackson Dart. I don't know what's going to come out of that. Jackson Dart, what do we think, Tay?
Well, I'm always I like how they're doing it. I say that. I like that he doesn't have to start week 1. And I think that helps players a lot, when they can just go through the motions before, playing quarterback. Quarterback is a hard position to play, and it helps players to not, go out there week 1 or anything like that. But I I don't think he should play until next year. I mean, they got two capable quarterbacks to get them through the year. So I think they should just see where they're at this year. Russell Wilson, he might give you 10 games, Jameis Winston, but they should try not to play Jackson Dart. I think that just be before the better like of their future. Like that would be really cool to see, that they've let him be a rookie because they don't need him to play. Like it's not like DeVito's the best quarterback.
Tons of starting experience on that roster now. Like
yeah, so
between Jameis and Russell, guys who have started 100 games between the two of them. Well, outside of that, probably. So, yeah, no, I agree. Let Dart, especially because, man, Dart's ton of arm talent, can make throws nobody else can make. Takes it on the chin, still delivers the ball, but he ran like a super, super simplistic offense. So give him that time to get used to the NFL, get used to NFL playbook, get used to running an NFL system in practice, and learn from at least Jameis and Russell for sure. Guys who have done a lot of big things. Russell, got a Super Bowl ring. What do you think of the Giants there, Lee Harvey?
I like what they did, but our guy though, Cam Scatterboo, he drafted.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I know you're going to talk about it. Got Cam Scatterboo in there.
Yeah,
I mean they don't really have anything else at running back, so
they don't.
Shit.
I mean, other than Tyrone Tracy going to be there, running back one.
He might, but I don't know if he's really the type of guy that you're trying to have, 30 touches a game or whatever.
Right.
He's a real good productive player, but he's probably more of a 15 touches a game type guy.
And they picked up Javon Holland, safety from the Dolphins.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a legit signing. What did they do to address receiver? Because we know Neighbors is going to get his targets.
Yeah. There wasn't really too much else added there, was there?
I mean, Neighbors is good enough to command a double team. But who's going
to get him a Robin?
Yeah, who's going to be that second guy to step up?
Yeah, I agree. And but you also look at, it wasn't like a super deep free agent class this year for wide receiver.
It wasn't.
They gave up assets to move up. We've talked about this 2 times in the past with the Vikings and then with the Texans. If you can snag both your big time edge rusher and your big time quarterback in the same draft, like, you won the draft. You did a great job. So asset allotment, right? Like you got to figure it out. You already got a good receiver. I agree. It would have been nice to them to add because it's kind of off a cliff after Neighbors. But at least you got him. Speaking of, okay, so but the thing is, this might have changed a little bit. The Cowboys. What do we think about that Pickens trade?
I mean, it was good.
Good. You know what? I need Dallas has to have some psychopaths, man. Like you can't just. This team's been way too bland for too many years. You got to have some crazy motherfuckers on the Dallas Cowboys for it to be right.
And they had Des Bryant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's been a long time.
Terrell Owens back then.
Yeah, exactly. They had Owens. They had Des Bryant. They had the White House crew back in the 90s. Like Dallas needs a couple of fucking crazy people on the team at all times. So Pickens coming, that's going to be, man, for fantasy football. It's going to be a smoking little situation for Dak Prescott there between CD and between CD and Pickens. What else though? I think this is another year. I feel like we said the same thing last year, where it's like, yeah, some good moves, some decent roster building, but like nothing that really pops off the screen. Like, oh man, that's a great pickup. Nothing that's really a needle mover. Did you really fix your running back situation with Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and Jaden Blue? I don't know. I guess it's good enough. And that's a shame too, because Javonte Williams at one point, I thought he was one of the most talented players in the whole league, and he's just never quite come back from injuries. So hopefully he doesn't recover that form because nobody wants anything good to happen for the Cowboys. But what do you think there, Tate? Other than Carl Pickens, what do you think of this Cowboys offseason?
They don't care. They did not do enough. They signed. They got a bunch of like.
Yeah, you look at the list. It's a mile long.
They did a bunch of nothing. They added a whole bunch of.
I hope that you guys don't have. I hope that you guys don't have this experience, but it's like when you're like a little kid and you're poor and you want to go get like the new whatever, the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip at Toys R Us, but you're poor, so your mom or your grandmother or whatever is like, okay, but instead we could go to the 98-cent store and you could get like 20 toys. So how about that? That's kind of what this Dallas offseason additions look like. It looks like, well, we couldn't get one of the good people. We couldn't go up and draft one of the stars, but hey, look at these 20 other names we got for you guys. We're doing stuff here. But it's just names. It's nothing impactful.
They definitely, I don't know who's calling the shots, but they definitely have a type. Like if you just look throughout the roster, there's a bunch of like 24 to 28-year-old like draft
24 to 28-year-old, yeah, high draft picks, C+.
Yeah, like a bunch of backups that like have shown some starting upside, but that's what they're banking on. They're praying that someone pops off for them. That's how they went about free agency, and I don't think that's a winning recipe. So they didn't do anything. They did a bunch of nothing, honestly.
It's they're they got Dak, they got the two receivers, they got Micah Parsons, and the rest of that shit looks like a baking list. What the fuck is all this stuff? Where are all these things on this list? Just names, just words on a page. Who the fuck are all these people? Lee Harvey, what do you think of the Cowboys offseason?
I'm not gonna lie, their subtractions, the people they lost, speak more than the people they added. Like,
yeah,
they haven't addressed losing Zach Martin to retirement. And I don't know if they actually can, because he was still productive.
Well, they picked that the guard out of Alabama up top, but you don't know how that'll work out.
And
he ain't gonna be Zach Martin right off the bat, that's for sure. Yeah,
nah. And that Pickens trade, they kind of needed to do that because last year CD broke down towards the end of last season with that shoulder injury. They needed a second guy to feed if CD ever goes down again.
Carl Pickens just sat up in his chair right now listening to this podcast. He said, "What the fuck did you just call me? A second guy?"
Oh,
come over there, slap you across the mouth right now.
Yeah, he does. He does look at himself as a number one.
I'm gonna have some fun this year. They remind me. I know it's like the same. It's the same example, metaphor again. They remind me of when there was a couple of Christmases when I was older. My mom got like 2 pairs of socks. Or 2 bags, like packs of socks, and put each pair of socks in different fucking Christmas wrapping, so it looked like I had a lot of shit under the tree for when people saw it. But they were just pairs of socks. That's what the fuck this Dallas additions list looks like. Look, hey, there's a lot here. Look at all these names, but just pairs of socks. Well. We got a lot more on deck for you than pairs of socks here at DAR Sports Media. We're going to continue with this NFL offseason grading episodes. And then next week, God damn it, next week, we're getting NBA Hoop Hour back in here. We should have all the next rounds begun, and then we'll have some days in between where we can put out some NBA pods, and they'll stay relevant for more than fucking 8 hours. Hell of an NBA playoffs so far. Me and True will be getting together for our weekend wrestling probably this week. Talk about everything just happened at WWE Backlash, what's coming up at AEW Double or Nothing. And then Apollo has a new album out. So we got basketball, we got football, and of course we got us covering the UFL over there on the United Football Media. Myself, Tate True, doing the wraparound show, and of course me and Tate covering our local DC Defenders. It's been a great season over there at the United Football Media. Maybe some news things to come, some surprises over there on that side. So check out their page, and if you're here coming from over there, thank you for joining us. Welcome, appreciate you. As you can see, True's everywhere covering stuff. He's writing for Pro Football Network. We got the NBA coming up. We got wrestling coming up. We're going to keep on doing this football grading. And this is all because the world of DAR never stops.